I know this is preseason, but don't get it twisted. When it's Arsenal versus Tottenham, it's never just a friendly. And this one, there's more at stake than we think. Welcome back to All About Arsenal. And in today's video, I'll be giving a quick match preview of Arsenal's clash against Tottenham this afternoon, which is going to take place by 12:30 p.m. in the Kai Tai Sports Park in Kowloon City, Hong Kong. This is Arsenal's final game in the preseason tour in Asia, with the Gunners playing 2 games in Singapore, where they were successful against AC Milan and Newcastle, before flying to Hong Kong to take on their old rival Spurs in foreign soil. Arsenal will be taking on a new look Spurs side, who is currently under the tutelage of Thomas Frank, who recently left from Brentford. Spurs actually won the Europa League last season, beating Manchester United in the finals, but Postecoglou was very disastrous in the Premier League, finishing in 17th place, which ultimately cost him his job. Arsenal's preseason so far has been good, starting from the wonderful game they played against AC Milan, where the Gunners won just 1-0, but that was a game that they had total dominance, having 23 shots in the match to AC Milan's 9, and AC Milan's goalies were actually the ones that kept the game at bay with their good saves. Eventually, all it took was the Bukayo Saka goal to settle the contest, but we also had some fun in the penalty shootout that saw Kepa Arrizabalaga make 3 saves. After that, Arsenal played against Newcastle in a more competitive outlook than what they did against AC Milan, because Newcastle gave Arsenal a run for their money. Early in the game, Anthony Elanga scored with basically Newcastle's first touch in attack, and Arsenal equalized through Mikel Merino, a wonderfully placed team goal. It started with Merino winning the ball in midfield, giving it to Leandro Trossard, who gave the ball to Kai Havertz, and Havertz put up a lovely flick, which was side-footed home by Merino. Shortly afterwards, Havertz was there once again to make it 2 when he crossed the ball that was sighted into his own goal by Alex Murphy. That was one of the most delightful own goals I've ever seen in a long time, reminding me of Laurent Meyer's own goal against Man City, when he blasted the ball into his own net. However, that didn't perturb Newcastle, as in the second half, Jacob Murphy made it 2-2. I still challenge that goal from a goalkeeping perspective, because I believe that Ryan could have done better, but on second view, it looked like a deflection. However, Max Dowman, the great Max Dowman, was actually instrumental in the final goal of the game when he made a surging run that saw him sighted down by Joel Linton in the box. Ødegaard had some nerves of steel, placed the ball into the goal, and made it 3-2. If you want to see me talk more about Max Dowman, check out the last video I did that talk about meeting the future of Arsenal, Hill-End breakout stars. In that video, I spoke about Max Dowman, I spoke about Josh Nichols, Ethan Nwaneri, and Miles Lewis Kelly. For Tottenham's preseason so far, they've locked horns against 3 English opposition, securing 2 victories and a draw. The first victory came when Tottenham played against Reading. They won 2-0 with goals from Will Lancashire and Luka Vuskovic. After locking horns with Reading, they played against Wycombe Wanderers, and that was a 2-2 draw that saw Pape Matar score a brace. Tottenham's last preseason match was against Luton Town, ended in a 0-0 draw, but there's an Arsenal interest in that game, as former Arsenal player Roy Walters was part of the Luton defense in that match. So far, Tottenham has had a couple of signings. Matis Tel, who came on loan last season from Bayern Munich, made his deal permanent. Kevin Danso, who also came on loan from RC Lens, also made his deal permanent as well. Vuskovic came in from Hajduk Split. But the club's biggest move this summer has been the signing of Mohamed Kudus from West Ham for £55 million. For their outgoings, only Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg has been confirmed when he moved to Marseille last season on loan, played for the entire campaign, and was retained by the French outfit. But there's also word on the street that Tottenham captain Son Heung-min is probably on his way out of the club, as he's been linked heavily with the move to LAFC in the MLS. Looking at Arteta's press conference, he spoke about 2 main things, one being whether Viktor Gyökeres will be playing this afternoon, and of course, what he feels about the North London derby taking place in foreign soil. On Viktor Gyökeres, he said he's only done 1 training session and he did very little the previous day. We are going to assess how he is. If medical staff are happy with his condition to participate in the game, then it's a possibility. But we are going to discuss about that. So there were a couple of training videos that were shared by Gunnar blog where Gyökeres scored a beautiful goal from like some distance to the top bins. Like he just gave Arsenal fans a glimpse of what to come, and we're looking forward to this. However, when I watched Tom Canton's Arsenal transfer show yesterday morning, he spoke about a couple of players that were missing from the training video. There was no picture of Gabriel found in training at all, while Ricardo Calafiori and Julian Timber were in some light training. Calafiori was a scare in the game against Newcastle where he just hit the deck after a couple of minutes into the second half, and we feared the worst. But to hear that he's in light training is kind of, encouraging to say the least. However, with this being a preseason match, I will not expect Calafiori to actually play at all because Arsenal want him to, be fully fit before featuring for the club again. Besides, we still have 2 games left in preseason back at the Emirates, where we're going to take on Athletic Club and Villarreal next month. On playing the North London Derby in foreign soil, Arteta said that it's a great idea. I think to bring football tradition and rivalry, but to do it in a different country, I think is brilliant. It's an opportunity for everyone to feel that and feel for us as well, because our preparation increases the competition level again and brings a different challenge to the game, while we're going to be lucky to play this incredible stadium of 50,000 people. I'm sure they're going to be super loud and passionate. Arsenal vs Tottenham is a game that had been locked in the echelons of memory from time past, and this is going to be a very good encounter between both sides. I know that certainly this is a preseason match that don't want to have a little competitiveness in it, but if you look at what Arsenal did against Newcastle, then you should expect the same against Spurs. To the predicted lineups, I would expect David Raya to retain his place in goal, while the defense will be composed of Ben White, William Saliba, Jacob Kivior, and Miles Lewis-Kelly. I expect to see a strong midfield with Martin Zubimendi playing alongside Declan Rice and Martin Ødegaard, while the attack will be Bukayo Saka on the right, Gabriel Martinelli, who I think can recover from his knock against AC Milan on the left, and Kai Havertz in the middle. I'm sure the fans will be hoping to see Gyökeres at some point in the game. If the club feels he didn't fit enough to play, I'm sure he will feature. But what we know for sure is that when he gets to the Emirates Cup, he'll be certainly fit for that game. For Tottenham, I would expect Gigi Vicario to start in goal. With Destiny Udogie still having injury problems, I would think Ben Davies will be the one that will play left back. Pedro Porro should be fit enough to play right back, while Danso will continue to play alongside Mickey van der Ven. Romero has been having some challenges as well, but I'm sure he'll be fit for this new season. In midfield, I would expect the industrial bunch with Archie Gray playing alongside Yves Bissouma and Pape Sarr, while the attack should be composed of Bernard Johnson on the left, Mohamed Kudus on the right, and Matistel down the middle. Dom Solanke is supposed to be the main striker for Tottenham, but he also has some injury challenges. I'm sure they don't want to risk him in a game of this magnitude. So yes, it's preseason, and this is a marker. Anytime Arsenal dominates Spurs, we set the tone. I would expect Arsenal to give it their all, bearing in mind that they're playing against their biggest rivals, their geographical rivals, and of course, on Tottenham Day will remain the same. For our predictions, I would expect a 2-1 win for Arsenal. Tottenham might actually make a goal, but others will have enough in the bank to see it through. So what do you all think about the game? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think should start? Who should step up? But one thing I know for sure is that North London remains red. Come on, you Gunners.